Hi guys, it's your boy, Hyperfixation Station here, and well, this probably looks a little bit different. And there's a reason for that. You see, for a long time I've wanted to do, I guess, what I've affectionately nicknamed rant videos, where basically I sit down and I just kind of talk. Think of it like a podcast, but just when I have one of my really stupid, hyperfixated ideas. Right, and yes, I am chewing gum. If you hear chewing, that's what it is. I also have some coffee here, as is customary. So, everybody, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well, because today's topic is a game that I have honestly played since childhood. Halo. Yes, I am trying to make some Halo videos, and I would love to have some Halo background footage to play over this video, but the problem with that is I don't actually know how to get Xbox recordings from my phone to my MacBook. I do have an iPhone, by the way, so if anybody has any suggestions to do with that, I would absolutely love to know. But anyway, regardless, I'm sure I'll figure something out. You'll probably be seeing some presentational features. I don't know, maybe I'll hop on some present program or something and make a little presentation, a little slideshow, like this is some fucking infant school show don't tell bullshit. Right, anyway, so the topic is Halo. A quick recap for those of you who don't know. Halo is a franchise created by the game studio Bungie in 2001, where a big 7'2" guy, you know, like that meme of the big, like, brawny guy who walks into the McDonald's. Basically, imagine him in dark green armor, and he just says badass one-liners for most of the series. He's called John 117, otherwise known as the Master Chief. And he goes through many gaming experiences of varying quality, and that's Halo. So obviously, for the people who are probably watching this video within the Halo community, Halo Infinite was the most recent release, and let's just say Halo Infinite's story has been divisive. As for myself, I didn't mind the story, actually. It honestly wasn't bad. Like, for me, peak 343 Halo will always be Halo 4. I know I just immediately pissed off about 100% of the Halo fanbase, but listen, I just love Halo 4. I grew up with Halo 4. Halo 4 was the game I grew up with. I remember that I used to be a boss in Infection. I guess for people who don't know, Infection is a multiplayer game mode in Halo where you essentially get to roleplay as an alien parasite, and it's just kind of a party game where it's like, you survive. It's kind of like, if you know COD Zombies, it's like that, but if the zombies were all players. So with that out of the way, I'll continue. You know, I grew up playing Halo 4 Infection. Was like the sound of my childhood. I used to love that shit. And like, I also, unironically, and I know this is very controversial, I like the Prometheans in concept. I know, controversial. I think they are a really good concept that I just wish had a better design. But anyway, we're getting a little bit off track here. So, Halo Infinite, if you don't know, is basically about this guy called Atriox, who you have no idea who he is if you never played Halo Wars. So Atriox is basically this big burly brute, which is basically an alien ape. No, I'm not being offensive. I'm not being racist. They are called brutes. They are big monkeys, okay? And basically he has this big faction called the Banished, which are kind of like, I guess the best way to describe them is they're kind of like pirates, but if your pirates were the most highly trained mercenary operatives in the galaxy, kind of thing. And he goes to this big ring called a halo. Yes, that is where the series gets its name. And basically, he destroys this giant super ship called the Infinity. And then the game's story actually takes place, and you basically fight him on this well, not him, but his asthmatic, wheezy cousin who probably never leaves the house, and his group of Discord mods. And basically you fight him, and eventually you kill him, and he also unleashes these weird tentacle things called the Endless, which have like these really weird mouth flaps, and they kind of look like fish, but look more like they belong in Destiny than Halo. It's confusing. And literally about 5 minutes ago, I just watched a video of somebody playing Halo Reach for the first time. Halo Reach was also another game that I grew up on, but kind of after Halo 4, kind of in the intermediary period between Halo 4 and Halo 5, I played the fuck out of Halo Reach Firefight. And, yeah, and I was like kind of wondering aloud how, because I was a little pussy child and I never played the campaign, I only really played Firefight and like very rarely the multiplayer for Halo Reach, I never actually got to have like my first reactions to like all the Noble Six's deaths and stuff. Noble Sixes? Noble Teams deaths and such, because I always have been, well, not so much now, but I used to be a really big Halo lore nerd, so I used to watch like Hidden Xperia, shout out to Hidden Xperia, and a lot of the other older Halo lore channels, so I got a lot of Halo Reach and a lot of Halo stories spoiled for me. So I've never really had the chance to experience it like as a, oh my god, I've never seen this before way. Even with Halo Infinite, I played like the first couple missions when it came out, but by the point Halo Infinite came out, I don't know, I could never really get into that mindset where I was like, I really want to play campaign. I was just like, okay, I want to hop on half an hour, a couple games of Slayer or something, then hop off. I became very much the casual Halo player. And Halo Infinite's campaign just never gripped me in the same way Halo Reach's did. Or even Halo 4. Yes, Halo 4's campaign gripped me, okay? You are listening to #1 Halo fan on the motherfucking internet right now. And yes, to everybody out there who played Halo 4 and complains that the suppressor is too weak, I fucking rocked with the suppressor. I used to play on Heroic, and I used to walk up to Promethean Knights and just fucking them with a suppressor. Okay? I don't want to hear none of this shit about suppressors being like the worst weapons ever. No, if you want to see the worst weapon ever, use the fucking storm rifle. That's the worst weapon ever. No, I'm holding out for my boy's suppressor, okay? Do we all get that? I'm a big Halo 4 fan? Good. Because the only campaigns I've played in full are Halo Reach, Halo 4, Halo 5, and I've played through every Halo 3 mission, but the final one, I think, because I just never really got around to it, and I started playing Halo 2 on Heroic, and had far more fun. Yeah. And I was thinking, because it always felt to me like Halo Infinite, at least somewhat, was trying to get a little bit of that tone of Halo Reach. I felt like it really wanted you to get into that Halo Reach mindset. With the whole kidnapping a Spartan thing, loads of dead Spartans you see. The way the UNSC, for the first time since Halo Reach, seemed like actually under threat and completely useless. So, and from that I was thinking, what if Halo Infinite actually borrowed more from Halo Reach? Because I also felt like it was trying to be Halo 3 ODST as well. And I feel like a lot of its problems comes from the fact that it couldn't decide whether it wants to be Halo 6, Halo Reach 2 Electric Boogaloo, and Halo 6 ODST. And I was just like, what if we had a Halo Infinite campaign that was more akin to Halo Reach, a far darker, more serious tone, something that you wouldn't be expressly used to in a Master Chief production. And bearing in mind, I haven't scripted any of this out, okay? None of this has been scripted. This is all gonna come from the top of my mind. Welcome to my rant videos, people. Shit is about to get insane. So, and a lot of people have said this, and I agree with a lot of people, that I actually think the first mission of Halo Infinite should actually have been fighting on the Infinity. I think that would have been, like, I feel like you should have fought Atriox as a boss fight or something. I don't really see the point in just making this really, really cool set piece of cutscene when the actual first mission, Warship Cabrakan, is that how you pronounce it? Cabrakan? Is actually pretty much the same thing. Like, Warship Cabrakan is pretty much the same thing as this hypothetical UNSC Infinity defending it mission would be. But the thing is with this hypothetical mission, is I feel like this is your chance to really hammer home that more Halo Reach tone. You know, you're defending Infinity, you're Master Chief, you're doing fine, but you get all these set pieces. Just all this shit, like, you know, maybe, like, brutes, like, putting Marines on spikes, or, you know, fucking... Wasn't that actually a thing? Was it in Halo Reach where, like, there was an Easter egg where you could actually watch, like, an elite, like, eating someone alive? Was that ever a thing, or am I imagining that? I don't know, leave it down in the comments below. Yeah, like, some shit like that where they're, like, got these prisoners and they're, like, actually pulling the heads off them, like, just for fun, or, you know, really hammer home that, like, darker tone. Maybe even get to see some of the other Spartan forts, like, fighting the elites and stuff, and, like, you just get to watch them absolutely ganked. Like, they get absolutely fucked like a Sunday night alcoholic in London. Like, they get absolutely ganked. You know, like, really drive, you know, and, like, maybe even, like, make it quite difficult as well at some parts. Like, maybe have sections very much akin to Halo Reach where you have to, like, where you're in a room or something and you just have to survive for, like, 2.5 minutes for, I don't know, some onboard AI. What was the onboard AI for the Infinity? Like, he was a male one, wasn't he? What was his name, like Ruckus or something? Tom? Simon? I can't remember. I'll call him Simon for now, because I like that for an AI. You know, because it actually sounds like it could be an anagram for something. You know, Simon, like, has to open doors for you and shit. You see that the Infinity, like, gets increasingly damaged, you know, like, fire everywhere, you have to parkour across big things and stuff like that, you know, and eventually it ends basically the exact same way as Combat Evolved. You get in a drop pod and you have to escape down to the surface. And yes, this does mean that I am essentially writing the Pelican Man out of the campaign. Which is actually quite sad for me, because he was actually one of my favourite characters in the entire campaign. But yeah, we are essentially writing him out of the campaign. And I feel like it would be really, really nice to have a little cutscene in between, like, think about, you know, Halo 3's opening, kind of think of that opening but in Halo Infinite's graphics, and then instead of Cortana speaking, it's Simon, as he essentially learns what death is for the first time, and you hear him kind of giving one final message to all the Spartans and that, and he's, you know, maybe he, like, ends it with something like, wherever all the good AIs go, like, I hope I was a good AI, I'll tell them of you, all of you, you are all brave, you are all Spartans, and something like that, and then it just cuts off, you know. Implication is he kind of comes to consciousness, he realizes what death is, he realizes he's about to die, he gives a little speech, and then boom, dead, gone. And then I guess from that point as well, and I guess you could imply this more in the actual first mission, you could imply that Lasky dies as well. Because I feel like, yet again, dark tone, you know, this is going to be the kind of story where I feel like we're going for the Halo Reach tone, more so that we are basically restarting this fucking trilogy from the start in this hypothetical version. You know, Lasky dead, Thomas dead, no, Simon dead, you know, loads of Spartan 4s dead. You know, we've got new enemy, you're on the Halo 2 ring. And now, what I would actually change about this is, remember that plot point in Halo 4 where they brought up that a lot of the Halo rings were actually being turned into like military bases and shit? Yeah, I'm gonna run with that idea. So there's quite an established UNSC presence on this planet. You know, so, you know, you've got a lot of military bases, you've got maybe like even like little makeshift towns and cities and stuff. And, you know, so maybe like the second Kishin, I don't fucking know, I'm going insane. You know, the second mission, you know, you've just crash landed, you know, your shields are down, you can't, you know the Halo 3 ODST thing, you know, where the shields are down, like the screen is red, you know, and maybe you could bring back a quick time event for like the first and only time in the whole campaign. I don't know, you just have to press the jump button a couple times to like haul yourself out of the drop pod. You know, and I think it would be very impactful and maybe metaphorical, I don't know, for this first section to be like unarmed. So you're walking around without a weapon, and maybe your radios are still like into UNSC things. And you know that cutscene from Halo Reach where like all the new ships come in, like all the new Covenant ships, and you just hear like slip space jump detected, slip space jump detected, slip space, you know, and all the slip space jumps, and you hear like all the like fleet commanders and that, like, you know, like, oh, the Covenant, you know, and you hear all of that going on in the background and stuff. Like, kind of imagine that, but like you're just kind of taking in Installation 0. I can't remember what installation Halo 2 was on. It was Delta Halo, but I can't remember. Was that 02? Because it would make sense, because Delta's the Greek name for 2. I think so. Yeah, so, you know, you hear all this going on. You hear, like, you know, Covenant contact, you know, and all that. And, like, because they don't know it's the Banished yet. Because in Halo Wars 2, the only people who know that the Banished exist is the people who were stationed on the Ark and the Spirit of Fire. So they're like, the Covenant's back, you know, and then maybe as a little Halo 2 reference, you just get one guy in the background go, my ass, you know, like, the Covenant are back, we're being pushed back on all fronts, they're letting the Delta 9 or I-95, how did they get through? That's not the Covenant, yeah it is, my ass, you know, something like that. You know, something a little bit like that. You know, and you're walking through and it's all scenic. Maybe there's a valley or something. You know, and you hear all this chatter, and eventually you come to this little outpost or something where you see, like, no, I don't know, you see, like, quite a gruesome sight, you know, like, Marines kind of, like, plastered onto the walls haphazardly with spikers and shit. You know, maybe they've got, like, chunks ripped out of their shoulders and stuff. You know, pretty brutal scene. Yeah, get it? Brutal. Yeah. You know, and this is where you can pick up, like, a sidekick, I think it's called in Halo Infinite, and an assault rifle. You know, and you get to listen to this radio transmission that was, like, the last radio transmission they got to send out. And it's, you know, just standard thing. They're calling for help, and then you just hear, like, no, they're in, ah! You know, kind of like, you know, Dead Space kind of shit. You know, and from that, then all of a sudden you see, like, you know, in the second mission from Halo C, when you see, like, the dropship, yeah, you see, like, imagine that, but then combine it with the scale of that bit from Long Night of Solace, where, like, you just see all, like, the really big, like, Covenant ships and stuff doing shit. You know, so you just see loads of transport ships, spirits, phantoms, drop ships, just fucking like an armada flying above you. And then you see a couple, like, some Banshee escorts. And then without warning, you get contacted by a mysterious AI that's, you know, that's like moaning about how she's failed and how it's still out there. And then all of a sudden, bang! Just like, this is Rogue Squadron engaging, I repeat, this is Rogue Squadron engaging, we're taking the fight to them. You know, and then maybe you could sneak an Independence Day reference, you know, just like one of them goes, I'm back, you know, and then all of a sudden you see all these long swords or whatever fighters they're using at this point in the Halo timeline just fucking come out of nowhere, and it's this big fucking space battle in the sky. And you know, like the little, from the Halo Infinite trailers, you know, all the drop pods that the Banished use, all of a sudden all these drop pods start coming from the motherfucking sky, and you know, and you're having to fight all these Banished, and then you end up meeting up with, like, this, then you end up finding this Banished prison camp, you know, and you have to, like, you know, fight all these Banished in the prison camp, and you free the Marines, and then you get contacted by, I don't know, fuck it, we'll bring Andrew Del Rio back for the sake of it, fuck it, just for the sake of the fact that I cannot be bothered to think of any original characters right now, we're bringing back Del Rio, you know, and he contacts you, and he's all, you know, and he's all like, Master Chief, we need you to go and kill some aliens, and maybe pop by the local Burger King and pick me up a Double Mac Whopper. The silence. Right, and don't ask me what the fuck, why I just kind of stopped there. Yeah, and so from that, then you get like a warthog or like a scorpion or something, you know, and then you see like all of the like the Banished vehicles and that, and like all the prowlers and choppers and shit. Maybe even fight a locust or something, you know, and it's like this epic scorpion thing, you know, you're in a scorpion, you're being escorted by like 2 warthogs or something, you know, and you got like the fucking in the background. You know, and that's really cool. And then by the end of it, you end up meeting up at like one of the main kind of bases, you know, and Del Rio gives you like the read of the situation. Basically, there's mysterious energy readings coming from underground. The Banished are fucking, you know, like they don't have the garrison to deal with the Banished forces, but they've been EMP'd so that they can't get communications out. You're all alone. And from that, then he then sends you on your next mission to meet up with, not Osiris, I'm not going to say Spartan Team Osiris, but Spartan Squad, what was it from fucking Spartan Ops? Like Team Ember or something, like Spartan Squad Ember, you know, and you got to meet up with Spartan Squad Ember, you know, and, you know, basically like blow up this Covenant supply tower where basically they want to like store all their supplies so you'll fuck up their logistics, you know, and you get to, and the cutscene that follows is like you in the Pelican, like you get, you know, all these, you know, like the scene from Halo 3 with like all the fucking long swords and that, yeah, you get to see all the long swords fucking, you know, dogfighting with Banished forces in the sky with the fucking energetic music. You know, you're in a Pelican with some Spec Ops Marines and you land on this little mountain, and literally most of the mission is making your way down the mountain in various different ways. You know, and you're making your way down the mountain, you're fighting Banished forces, you know, like, you know, yeah, and there's a couple set pieces, I don't know, like, I'm not going to get into the specifics because this is literally all coming from the top of my mind, and I don't want this to go on for fucking ages. So yeah, you know, you're going down this hill, and, you know, and you get the little email fucking Skype fucking call from Mr. Blade Master, who's like, I am the Spartan Killer. I will fuck you up, and I've kidnapped lots of Spartans to force to watch Girls und Panzer, and something like that. So then, like, you get a sequence a little bit similar to that sequence from Truth and Reconciliation, where you have to hold out, and you have to hold out, and then you go up into the little unfinished banished spire. You have a little boss fight with him, but before you get to the boss fight, you see, yet again, the Spartans have already been killed, apart from one who's in the room and he's like actively being tortured. You do the boss fight, you save him, but you realise that he was actually basically dead from the start, and that's when you get given like your grapple shot. So now you get maybe a little bit of a free roam bit after that. You can go around and do some shit and fuck some people up. Maybe you can go around, to some more banished POW camps and rescue them, like the fucking Pacific War. Loads of shit like that. I'm gonna take this gun out. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. Alright, motherfucking told you, right back to the action, boys. Yeah, so after that, you end up coming across this strange signal again from this weird AI who keeps slipping into your DMs, and she's like, "You're 117, right? Spartan designation 117, Spartan 2 program John," and then she gets cut off as a tease to John doesn't have a last name, bitch. What do you think this is, the Halo TV show? God, that genuinely wouldn't surprise me if at some point in the Halo TV show they actually revealed his last name or something. That shit would genuinely not surprise me. Yeah, so, perfect temperature. Ready? Do you want to get that classic coffee slurp? Ready? Lovely jubbly. Right, yeah, so from that then, you end up, having one of those Cortana visions that are actually in the game, and basically I'm trying to gaslight the player into thinking you're about to find Cortana, but you don't. You go into these caverns and you see all the Sentinels and, I don't know, loads of Forerunner shit, basically the second mission from the actual Halo Infinite campaign. And you see all this shit going on, and the Forerunners are talking about some kind of doomsday, some kind of test, the fact that it will be released, the fact that it can't be released, the fact that it shouldn't exist, and loads of little world building, tension building shit like that. And then you keep hearing this AI, she just won't fucking leave you alone. She's like, "Spartan designation 117, I failed, shit like that, and then eventually, you actually get a real moment where the AI glitches out, and all of a sudden you just get, "I am Atriox. You stole my bionicles, and now you will die until I get what I want," or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. And and all of a sudden, all the, literally, the fucking how the Prometheans teleporting in Halo 4, you literally see all the fucking banished teleporting in like that, and you fight your way through a couple waves of banished before making your way to a little pedestal, when you're met with none other than totally not Cortana 2 Electric Boogaloo, aka and the weapon. I actually don't know how she speaks, but yeah, that shit. And so she's there, and she kind of tells you a similar just kind of like a darker version of the same story she tells in Halo Infinite. Basically, she's the weapon. She was meant to kill Cortana, then delete herself, but she failed to kill Cortana, so she didn't delete herself, and she basically blames this whole situation on her for some reason that she won't let on. You know, you end up taking her, and you have another one of these Cortana visions, you know, similar to, you know, you have and then actually, I think I would change it to increase the Halo Reach parallels, you know, so it's not the one where it's like, I chose you, John, you know, like the Halo 3 parallel one. No, instead, like, have it where it's like, you know, like, she's actually getting handed over to him for the first time, and like, maybe like he hears her in her head, like, whilst he's on the Pillar of Autumn Frozen, you know, like, just like the little boot up sound or something, you know, like, Cortana program plugged in, you know, something like that, you know, fucking Windows XP looking ass, you know, and yeah, like, something like that, you know, and then the weapon keeps trying to, like, warn you about something, but, like, she won't, you know, same way the little Forerunner radio messages were, you know, she's trying to warn you about something, but you're not quite having her. You know, you fight a couple more waves of Banished, and you get to, like, this little door, and all of a sudden it locks behind you, the room is dark, and all of a sudden this little central thing opens up with blue light, and all of a sudden blue energy starts coursing through, and Master Chief goes like, Prometheans, you know, and, you know, like, you know, yeah, like, you know, like, I was not looking forward to walking a robot dog today, kind of thing, you know, but actually it's Endless Queen person, you know, fucking insert Super Smash Bros intro here. You know, and yet again, similar scene to Halo Infinite. So after that, you're then cast back out into the open world, where you're then met with quite the sight. You see, you know, you then see, like, a back cannon, like, in the distance, just, you know, big explosion. And then you see another big explosion, then another big explosion. And then all of a sudden you see a couple Banshees, like, chasing down these falcons or something. No, not falcons, this isn't Halo Reach. I don't know, like a couple pelicans, and just absolutely murking them. You know, and then you get, like, an angry message, an angry fucking Steam DM from Del Rio going like, where were you, Master Chief? What were you doing looking at my lady's DMs? You know, some shit like that. You know, and yeah, so you fight your way to this Scorpion, you go on another Scorpion run, fight some more Banished vehicles, before, you know, like in Halo 4, like in the Big Mammoth mission, where you, like, you know, where you come out of that cave and, like, you see all the UNSC forces? Yeah, you see that here. So you see, like, these three, like, Banished spires that are, like, providing energy, like, think of, like, basically, like, those actual buildings from Halo Wars 2, like, you see three of them, and you've got to blow them up. So yeah, so, you know, you come out of your Scorpion, you see, like, loads of other Scorpions and Warthogs, and you get, like, the dun 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 dun, you know, intense music, you know, like, fucking, like, someone shreds a guitar as you're fucking, like, blowing up all these Banished, and you're feeling good, you blow up the three spires, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden, like, you just, you know, and you blow up the three spires, and then all of a sudden, like, all these Endless start just literally pouring out from the ground. Then suddenly all the Sentinels start pouring out from the ground, but they don't attack the Banished. They start immediately attacking you. So yeah, you start, like, fighting your way through all these, like, Sentinels and Forgotten and that, as, like, you just see Scorpions getting absolutely murked behind you, like, yeah, like, it's an absolute massacre of the highest proportions, and you, like, barely make it out alive. You know, you manage to make your way to this little underground passage with, like, loads of, like, Marines, like, huddled together, you know, like, they're all telling stories of, like, how they saw their brothers, like, you know, their brothers and their sisters and their comrades getting just ripped to pieces by brutes and stuff like that, you know, and then they tell you they have a bomb, you know, and they want to give the Banished back their bomb, you know, and they want to drop, like, a sick beat drop on them. You know, and basically, like, then you get, you know, maybe it's like a little cameo, I guess, like, from the actual Pelican guy, you know, maybe he is just your regular Pelican driver. He's basically, what's her fucking name? Fohammer from Halo CE. And, you know, so he turns up, picks you all up in his Pelican, and from this you get to see, like, loads of banished scarabs just tearing apart an UNSC base below you, and you get another angry DM from Del Rio, basically trying to tell you, like, the ring is already lost, what are you doing chasing these stupid adventures? The weapon then has an argument with him, and Del Rio basically tells her to, like, shut the fuck up, bitch, you couldn't even kill Cortana, you know, like some stupid shit like that, you know. And then and then from the Pelican you end up then, like, riding over this, like, big, you know, you end up getting hit by, like, a Banshee, and, like, you know, John's basically, like Carter from Halo Reach, and he's like, don't worry, I'll get the job done, you know, I'm gonna give the Covenant back their bomb, you know, and, like, he grabs the bomb and he just fucking dips as the Pelican takes some evasive maneuvers, you know. You then get to see the wreckage of the Infinity in the distance, as it's almost like slow motion, and then all of a sudden you're teleported into somewhere, but where? Who knows? You know, and you're teleported in there, and, like, loads of shit's going on, and you're fighting some Endless and some Sentinels again, and you're getting loads of, you know, maybe you get some Didact references, you know, maybe you get to hear, like, a fucking, like, you know, fucking, like, EastEnders or something, like, I can't believe you did this again, Didact, how many times do I have to tell you to stop clashing all the humans? But you don't understand. What was it fucking called? But the composer's beam went with the beat drop of Freebird. I don't know, some shit like that. And yeah, so he basically, you know, so you get to hear, like, some little drama between them. Maybe you get to see some, like, almost like prototype designs for Prometheans as well. You know, the weapon, like, won't shut the fuck up about how weird this place seems, how she wants you to get out of there. She's obviously trying to hide something from you. She's probably been cheating on you with another Spartan or something. You know, but the Banished are mysteriously just not here. You know, and you end up going into this room with, like, the Endless Queen in there, but it's not the Endless Queen, it's actually an illusion, and all of a sudden you see it dissipate into purple light, and then all of a sudden you have another Cortana illusion where, like, Cortana, you know, the moment where Cortana dies, you know, she sacrificed herself to stop the Didact, and all of a sudden you get, like, all these Promethean suits just, like, you know, like, Promethean, like, husks start, like, raining down from the sky, and you have to find a way out of there, and you find your way into this portal that the weapon has to activate, and I don't know, you and the weapon have a little bit of a moment. You step through the portal, and all of a sudden like, you're in the middle of this banished base, and you blow it up because, you know, you're a good soldier. You know, good soldiers follow orders. You blow it up. You jump out, only to jump onto a scarab. But it's weird. It's not a normal scarab. It's the Halo 2 scarab, but it's got the banished armor on it. But the elites you're fighting, they're not wearing banished armor, they're wearing Covenant armor. You know, and it's all, like, weird and shit, and it's like something's playing with your mind kind of shit. So you know, you fight your way through this scarab, and you blow it up exactly like you did in Halo 2, and then as you jump off the scarab, all of a sudden, you know that moment in Halo 5 where the hunter, like, sends you down, and then you have your first Cortana disillusion? Yeah, that happens, like a fucking, but instead with a Goliath from Halo Wars 2. So a Goliath just fucking waltzes up, you know, like, punches you down, all of a sudden you're in this building with swirling flames, and you're unarmed. You pick up this battle rifle, and you're battling through banished forces, and, you know, and then all of a sudden you see him, Escherum, you know, and he introduces himself by promptly getting an energy sword and stabbing Del Rio through the chest as like a couple other Spartan Falls meet up with you and tell you that they're evacing the whole area, you know, so you and the Spartan Falls kill Escherum and hold off banished forces so that the Marines can evac, and you're told that they managed to they managed to like steal, or like they've managed to like I don't know, get a communication through or some shit like that, and they've managed to like get like I don't know, like a little bit of UNSC help is on the way, you know, and they've basically just got to hold out until then. So, you know, from that you then get another little open world bit where you get to kind of do some stuff, take on some mini bosses, go to some more banished POW camps, you know, the Riz, the Biz, the Giz, you know, you get to do loads of fun shit, you know, and then, you know, and like, maybe, you know, the weapon is a little bit, you know, she's a little bit more peaceful, but she's still, like, obviously trying to, like, hide something from you. You know, she's still obviously trying to make sure that you don't find out something, and she seems to know like a weirdly large amount of shit about Cortana. You know, and yeah, maybe you come across like, you know, like you literally go into the scene where like the game fucking like gaslights you into thinking you're about to face the Warden Eternal or some shit, and like, you know, every Halo 5 player just gets a fucking PTSD from like a fucking NARM flashback to Halo 5, and then like suddenly, no, actually, it's the Endless Queen. Yeah, you didn't do your daily OnlyFans donation and she is pissed. So you have to fight her in a little boss fight, and you learn a little bit more about the Endless, you know, but she says something like really cryptic at the end of the boss fight, like, you know, something like, what you see isn't necessarily what you seek. You know, some weird kind of cryptic shit like that. You know, and it leaves you feeling like, what the fuck is going on at this point? You know, and all of a sudden, like, you walk through, like, another portal, some weird shit like that, and, you basically, you know, and then you're in this little desert, you know, and you're in this little desert, and there's like the Covenant AA, but they're with banished armor in the background. Now, anybody who's played Halo Reach will know that this is literally that one firefight map. Yes, you go across here, you see like loads of like husks of destroyed warthogs and mongoose. Is it mongoose? What is the plural of mongoose? Not mongoose as in the real world mongoose. I mean, like, does like that you know, the quad bike, does that have like any actual plural, or am I just overthinking a really random vehicle that nobody actually likes? Yeah. So, you know, and you see all this, and the weapon starts freaking out, like full on, like, you know, Halo 4 Cortana freaking out, you know, and she's kind of going right into one, and all of a sudden you see this purple, or like, you know, and you see like suddenly the sky turn purple and loads of data form around you, and then suddenly you're back as a repeat of the last mission you just played. You know, you wake up in the bed, you take the battle rifle, but this time it's all fine. But also it looks a little bit different. You see, you see Truth's Armada in the background, and then slowly but surely each ship turns red and white, and then all of a sudden they start glassing shit, you know, and then as you wake up your shields are suddenly knocked down as the glassing beam gets closer, and you get into this little warthog run, you know, the music picks up, you run into this warthog and you start driving down the road, you know, and you eventually end up at I don't know, like at this, like, I don't know, like the ring's starting to look a little bit fucked up now, and you end up at this little base. I don't know, it's another UNSC base. You know, you meet up with some of the guys, you know, with some of like the only survivors of the ring. They tell you the casualty numbers, and like, you know, like maybe like the weapons engineer or something, or like the doctor on site tells you basically, yeah, you've got some weird shit going on, Chief, and I'm not a therapist, and this isn't a Halo TV show, so you can fuck off. You know, but you've just got some weird shit going on. Like, you're like fucking, like 1 minute you're here, then you're not here, and then like 1 minute you're fucking like, you know, screaming, and 1 minute you're not. You know, it's all crazy, and you're crazy, but this isn't a Halo TV show, so we're not gonna get into it, because boom, vanished. You know, like fucking, they teleport in like fucking XCOM again, and you're fighting waves and waves are fucking banished. You know, and you get fucking Atriox, you know, going, "How dare you steal my bionicles, Master Chief? I have killed Spartan 2s before, and I will kill you. You and your stupid AI friend will not get away with stealing my bionicles." Some shit like that, you know, and you know, you end up beating him, you end up losing, like you end up getting your asses kicked, you know, and you see all these locusts come and start blowing shit up, and you know, you intend to sacrifice yourself, I don't know, like you go and try and blow, like self-destruct the base or something, but strangely enough, you then end up on a light bridge with loads of blue lights surrounding you. And all of a sudden it turns purple, and then orange, and then blue. And it keeps doing this, and you realise that the weapon's chip in your head is suddenly gone. And you approach this pedestal, and you put the chip in, and all of a sudden, bum 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 bum, dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da, dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da. To leave your more suspense, I'll take another sip of coffee. Nice. Yeah, and you basically end up, it's, well, first, you know, you see it all materialising in front of you. It's fucking Cortana, it's motherfucking Cortana. What else do you think I've been building up to this entire motherfucking video? Yeah, so it's Cortana, she, you know, and she's like, "Chief, you're just as big and manly and strong as the day I met you, you know, on the ship when Reach fell," you know, and like loads of shit like that, loads of soppy shit, you know. She's like, "Chief, I'm still here, but it's not me. It's different. I'm not me." And then she like freaks out and she's like, "I'm not me," you know, some shit like that. You know, and all of a sudden you're like hurled out from this illusion, and the weapon is like standing in front of you, and she's like, "Chief, are you okay? I failed again, didn't I?" You know, you're like hooked up to all these machines and shit, you know, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on, weapon?" You know, like, I know you're into some kinky shit, but I didn't think you were into fucking medical bondage, you know. And she's like, no, I'm trying to save you. You literally exploded a bomb, like, directly in your face. If it wasn't for, like, this weird Forerunner aura, like, shielding you, you would have fucking died, you fucking idiot, you know. And she tells you that like they're beginning evac protocols now. So you go on this warthog run, you're fucking like supersonic racing, you know, and you're fucking like beaming down. Maybe you rescue some more marines on your way. You see fucking 2 frigates and some long swords and shit like that. You know, they're getting absolutely you know, they're holding their own. You see the transport ship in a distance, and then all of a sudden the big boy ship, Atriox's ship, suddenly just fucking teleports in like the Star Destroyer in Rogue One, you know, and just fucking glassing, you know, literally like the Halo Reach scene, literally just fucking blows up both the Paris classes or whatever frigates are there, you know, trying to do shit, and then you know, and then it literally glass and beams like the evac site and all that, and you have to watch, you know, and then you just hear Atriox's voice like, "You see, Master Chief, there is no way that you can win. You and your stupid AI will be mine." You know, some shit like that. You know, when you're approaching the final mission now, this is like penultimate mission time. You know, and you get to see like, you know, crazy shit's going on, like, you know, you then do some more like free roam shit, you know, but this time there isn't any marines left. You and whatever marines you saved in that little warthog run are all that are left. So you go around and you do some shit, and you and the weapon are trying to figure out how the fuck you can get off the planet, you know, and you end up like going inside the wreckage of the Infinity, and you find a mantis, you know, and you go through this little mantis section, you know, you shoot down some phantoms and shit, you have another boss fight, and all of a sudden Echo 114 is his name, I think, or Echo, fuck it, we'll just call him Echo 117, you know, Mr. Pelican Man returns, you know, and he's like, Chief, I know a way we can get out of here, you just need to, and then all of a sudden, bam, blasted out of motherfucking air before your very eyes. You know, like, yeah, literally, like, yeah, like, now we're on the penultimate mission. So you then, like, beneath the Infinity, you then go, you know, you can do this whichever way you want, you know, you go through this little banished mining structure, you go deep into the mines, you fight some more Endless, and you meet your damn queen, Mrs. Endless. You know, you have another boss fight with her, and she tells you some more cryptic shit about the Endless's history with the Forerunners, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden you see the Sentinels, but this time they're not hostile, instead they seem to be building something, and all of a sudden all the blue energy starts turning purple again, and all of a sudden you see like these weird like hands coming out of the walls, and all of a sudden the motherfucking Prometheans turn up, but this time they're not orange and they're not blue, they're purple. Yes, very important distinction, they're purple. And, you know, you see all these, like, Endless and Banished working together, and the Prometheans start fighting the Endless and the Banished. You know, and you fight alongside the Prometheans, like, through, like, loads of corridors, and eventually, the weapon's, like, freaking out. She's like, shoot the Prometheans, you're a fucking pussy, shoot the Prometheans. You know, and all this shit. And all of a sudden, you know, like, Cortana just emerges out of one of the consoles, but she walks towards you. She's like, you know, literally Halo 5, she is like pretty much an entity at this point. You know, and she's like, Chief, I did it. I don't know, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know, Chief, I did it. I came back. I'm me again. Can't you see? Purple? You know, and she's like, I managed to take control of the Prometheans and all the Forerunner shit, and, you know, like, I'm no longer the crazy bitch from Halo 5, like, that wasn't me, that was basically, like, this Forerunner AI that, like, took over my body and my mind, but I was still trying to fight it for control, but I couldn't tell you because it wouldn't let me, you know, and shit like that, you know, and she's, you know, and it's just a really awkward marriage situation, you know, and she's like, listen, it's not you, it's me. You know, and she's like, the Prometheans will help you, but you have to do one thing for me. You have to, you know, remember back in the day when we killed Truth and we ended the fight? You need to do it again, for me. I can't help you explicitly, the UNSC don't trust me anymore, but you need to finish the fight. You need to, you know, maybe she spouts some weird Oni shit, you know, like, they're gonna get you. They sent Spartans after you, Chief. I'm just trying to help you. You need to be with me. You know, and it's really confusing, because, like, you know, she could actually be, you know, and the weapon's fucking freaking out, and the weapon and Cortana have this, like, fucking, like, little, like, verbal battle, like, you know, like, the weapon literally inserts herself, like, into the machine, and she starts, like, taking control of the Prometheans. You know, and she's like, I will not let her leave this ring, you know, and some shit like that, you know, and all of a sudden, like, the Banished and the Endless, like, come up to you, and, like, the Endless Queen, and, like, Atriox himself, like, comes, and he's like, yeah, we need to stop this crazy bitch, you know, so you fight your way through Prometheans and Sentinels, through, like, this huge Forerunner structure. You even get to see, like, call it Forerunner versions of a lot of, like, the Banished and UNSC vehicles and shit, you know, like, Sentinels fucking driving Scorpions and shit like that, and you have all these big battles and stuff like that, and eventually, you know, you reach her, and, you know, like, the Sentinel boss fight in Halo Infinite, she basically does that. She, like, takes the body of a monitor and puts, like, loads of guns on it, and you have this boss fight with her, you know, and you defeat her, and Cortana's like, well done, Chief. Now we can do it. We can give the UNSC back their chief. And all of a sudden, boom, it ends. Now, is that absolutely batshit insane, and you can most probably tell I had none of this planned out? Yes, this was completely off the top of my head, and this is what you can expect from a lot of these rant videos. Literally, every time I just get fixated on something and I just kind of want to talk about it, you're gonna get something like this. And I hope that introducing this will help me with more consistent uploads as well, because sometimes, like, I, record myself playing, it's just not funny, or I just, don't get the time to record, like, long gameplays and stuff like that, or, and I just don't feel like playing Command & Conquer and shit, so I hope that this will help you, and you can still stay entertained by me, to some extent. So, I guess this is where I say bye. I know this is very, very different for me, but, I hope that this was still funny and entertaining, and I hope more importantly that you have enjoyed your stay or your train ride to the hyperfixation station. And so, you know what I'm gonna say. If you liked the video, share it to your mum, share it to your nan, share it to your AI e-girlfriend, share it to your Spartan cat girl e-boy, share it to your femboy elite, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.